the promised land. Joshua, who marched around the walls of Jericho for 7 days, and the walls came tumbling down. It was Joshua that causes me to want to match the text to that subject, because I think he gives us a good example of what can happen when you focus on your losses and you're so busy lamenting them, you refuse to learn from them. Do I have a witness here? Let me start then by talking about deliverance and defeat. Deliverance and defeat. The text finds Joshua at an unusual time in his life. At this juncture, he had just completed the victory over Jericho. He has now told the men to attack Ai. Ai was small, and the people said, we don't need to bring the whole army up there. It's only a few of them. There'll be about 3,000 soldiers, and we'll go down and attack Ai, and that's what he did. And when he attacked Ai, the Bible says, men of Ai came and chased the rest of the way. The final report was 36 ended up being killed. But they had to tuck their tails between their legs and run on back home and report to Joshua, we have lost the battle. Joshua is very distraught. Him and the leaders of Israel messed up that. They've been celebrating the victory over Jericho. They know God is behind them. They know God is with them. What's going on? And he turns to God and says, you led us out here for this? Why did you put us in this situation? Well, let me put a pin right there and say, isn't it amazing how we expect God to take us to our destinies and take us to our goals without any defeats along the way? Isn't it amazing how we can celebrate our victories and talk about how great God is when things are going well in our lives? And as soon as struggle comes, we're ready to throw in the towel. Isn't it amazing how we want to praise God when got money in our pocket, praise Him when I just got a raise, praise Him when the car is running, but as soon as something goes bad, we start to want to doubt God. Why you leaving me? Like, I got favor with Him when everything is going well, but when the storm comes, I seemingly want to point my finger at God and say, you've forgotten about me. What did I do to deserve something like this? I came by to tell you, you can't get to glory without having to go through some storms along the way. Every mountain, there is a valley, there's some rough places, there's some tough places, there's some places you're going to have to go through that are not victorious. There are storms along the way, and you've got to be ready to learn from your storms. Instead of you fussing with God, you ought to ask God, Lord, what are you trying to teach me right now? I know this didn't happen by accident. This is not happenstance. It's not something that happened and you didn't know about it. You allowed it to happen. What is it you want me to learn from what's going on in my life right now? See, God is not trying to make you worse. He's trying to make you better. But sometimes in order to be better, I got to go through some stuff. Sometimes to be better, I got to go through the storm. You see, you can't smell sweet getting better. I was out there cutting my grass yesterday. Brother Nixon didn't want to cut it at 9 o'clock. I was out there at 11 o'clock cutting the grass. And before I finished, it was high noon and the sun was parching. But you know what I found out? You can't cut the grass in 100-degree weather and not sweat. And when I tell me like Brother Nixon, he sweat, he still smell all right. But you know what I found out? When I sweat, if I stay out there long enough, I get right. One of the great mysteries to me, my mom, when we thought we were getting smart, she said, boy, you must be smelling yourself. Didn't quite understand it. To me, you know, kind of, well, when you think you've grown and you're not, you must be smelling yourself. But you know, as I got older, it becomes Because when you smell it, it's kind of bad. It's too late. It's messed up. I wish I had a witness here. And all I'm trying to tell you, you can't go through some heat without raising some sweat and some stink. That sometimes life is going to take you through some situations when you come out of it, you're not smelling all that good on the other side. But thank God for soap and water. That's another sermon. Well, my brothers and sisters, Joshua finds himself lamenting, and he's on the ground, and he's feeling sorry for himself. And when he decides to examine the problem, he starts raising doubts about God. And isn't it amazing how we start doubting God and start doubting how fair God is, and we want to be like Job. I don't know what I've done that was so bad. This must be a test, because I know I haven't done anything wrong. And he's going through all of this, and he feels like he's being mistreated. And the Lord says, get up. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. You didn't lose by accident. You didn't lose unjustifiably. There's a reason for your defeat. If the truth be told, there's a reason for our defeat. Oh, ain't no sense you trying to act like God is so unfair and you've been perfect and you haven't done anything wrong. You know what I said? If God punished us for the rest of our days, there's some justification for every punishment. None of us, I know y'all got quiet now, I'm just confessing myself, none of us have been all that good that we deserve goodness the rest of our lives. All of us made some mistake. The Bible says the payment for one sin is death. That means I ought to be dead. I should have died a long time ago, but the other part is but saying the gift of God is eternal life. I'm not here on my goodness. I'm not here on my merit. I'm here because of God's grace. I'm here because God gave me another chance. I'm here not because I deserve to be here. I'm here because God had mercy on me and allowed me to see another day. Get up, get up, get up, get up. You messed up. But see, Israel had committed a sin. Israel had committed a sin. And you lost the battle because you committed a sin. Let me then get away from deliverance and defeat and get to this part about disobedient desires. Disobedient desires. A fellow by the name of Achan is in chapter 7. When you read and you find God was giving them instructions to go into Jericho, he says, I want you to go and I'm going to lead you and you're going to get to the camp and you're going to see the people and you're going to see the spoil. But when you see the spoil, the silver and the gold belong to me. Look at somebody say, the silver and the gold belong to the Lord. You can get in big trouble trying to steal God's stuff. I don't understand folks who want to steal God's stuff. I tell you, everybody's stuff in here before I try to steal God's stuff. Seems like if you had a little sense not to steal anybody's possession, you would take God's stuff. But he goes through Jericho, no problem. But when he gets to when he gets to Jericho, he did have a problem. He got to this particular tent, and the silver and the gold just caught his eye. And he just had to have it for himself. Looked around, made sure nobody saw him, took the stuff, ran to his tent, dug a hole and buried the goods under his tent. Do I have a witness here? Think everything is all right. But the Bible says when they went to Ai, they lost the battle. And they lost the battle, God told Joshua, because Israel had taken the accursed thing. Oh, y'all looking at me like I'm making this stuff up. What is it about us that makes us want to get that which God told us not to have? It's like this this desire, you've been talking about it before, this hunger we have for the forbidden fruit. David got every woman he wants. He can have anybody he wants, but he don't want the women he can have. He wants Uriah's wife. That which he can't have. We always want that which God told us not to have. We always want to do that which God told us not to do. And this boy Achan out of all, I mean, it's just not logical. It doesn't make sense. But that's what sin is. Sin never makes sense. The devil knows how to mess us up doing that which is not sensible. But then the other thing is, when you start thinking about those types of sin, you got to think about how what you're doing is going to affect somebody else. I wish I had the witness here. God didn't call Achan by name. He could have told him that boy Achan messed up and he didn't matter. He didn't tell him that. He says, Israel have sinned. Oh yeah, y'all, we're going to get worse than this. It's going to get worse than this. He didn't say Achan has sinned. He said Israel has sinned. One man messed up, and God blames the whole nation. One man out of one tribe messed up. He don't blame the whole tribe. He blames the whole nation. One man blew it, and he blames everybody. Oh yeah, y'all looking at me like, see, you gotta understand, whether you like it or not, we're all in this together. You say you know, but when you're a member of Bethany, that means we're all intertwined with one another. You can't talk about one without talking about all of them. Like to me, God is saying that, well, Achan messed up, but then the atmosphere for him to feel like he could mess up and get away with it was provided by the whole. I want to wonder how many in Bethany is messing up Bethany? Before you start trying to point a finger at who you think messed Bethany up, you need to ask yourself a question: does God blame just them, or is God looking at me too? God doesn't just call members' name; He calls us all by name. We are all Bethany. We all a part of the family of God. We are all a part of this church, and you can't just low rate and ostracize one member without ostracizing and low rating yourself. I can't say Bethany ain't worth not without talking about the pastor of Bethany at the same time. Bethany ain't right don't mean one member ain't right. Bethany ain't right don't mean the deacons ain't right. Bethany ain't right don't mean the ushers aren't right. Bethany's not right doesn't mean the choir is right. It means all of Bethany is not right. So that anyone who is a part of Bethany has to take on that same evaluation. What the hell is this? I'm responsible for my brother. Am I my brother's keeper? I'm responsible for the actions of my brother. I'm responsible for the actions of those around me, so that when we start talking about racism, I can't just point at white folks who are racist. I got to also take on responsibility for what I could do to make America less racist. That we don't need non-racists, we need to be against racism. That we all have to do our part to make America a better place, because we're all a part of America. Before you leave here, y'all look at Doug. Doug got a t-shirt on, and he says America has never been great for us. I was talking to my neighbor. He was talking about this whole dilemma. You know, a lot of white folks won't talk to me now. I was talking with him. We had a good long conversation. But I started talking about y'all favorite president, Donald Trump. And when I was talking about him, I said, you know, his logo don't make sense. Want to make America great again. And my neighbor says, America is already great. And I hurry up and put in there, not for us. I wish I could have a witness. Not for us. It might be already great for you, but it's not already great for us. That we need to understand all of us have a responsibility for contributing to making this place better, and we can't be better by acting as though nothing is wrong with us. I will preach today, I don't have to say amen. You can't tell me Bethany is perfect. Bethany is a good church. Yeah, it's a good church. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't a good church, but it's not perfect. Before you proceed, you got to get rid of some stuff. You can't just keep on doing what you've been doing and expect God to bless your mess. You can't just live any kind of way, say any kind of stuff, and expect God to bless your mess. You can't put God on the lower pole and expect God to bless your stuff. God says, I require certain things for folk who are members of my church. I want you to have some standards, and I want your standards to be high standards. You don't just treat God any kind of way. You don't give God your leftovers. You don't just come by when you feel like coming by. God said, I'm a jealous God, and I'm particular about where you put me and how you treat me. You got to give me some glory. You got to give me some honor. You got to give me some praise. Don't come up here like you're doing me a favor. I'm doing you a favor to let you come in. You got to put God in your rightful place. Boy, I have a witness here. Yeah, he messed up. He messed up. He was greedy. And what you need to understand, you can commit sin, but don't commit your sin without understanding there are some consequences to your sin. Oh, yeah. Nobody. I'm nobody. Pastor Haynes, David, Joshua, none of us are so great that we can do wrong and not have to pay the consequence. And I don't care who you are. I don't care how long you can fool folks, you can lie to folks, but I came by to tell you there are some consequences to every sin you have committed. You may thought it was in secret and nobody found out about it, but you know what? I found out God has an X-ray vision. He don't open the door to the closet. He can look through the door and see your skeleton. Achan's actions had affected the entire nation, and just like there were consequences to Achan, there are also some consequences to Israel. You see, when you got a rotten part of your anatomy, you got to get it out. Doctor saw gangrene in the man's foot, but he couldn't leave the gangrene there. He dig the gangrene out of the foot and let it heal, or cut the whole foot off. Because it's better to have the foot cut off than have the gangrene stay on. I lived, a little boy, I remember a man, almost called his name, but he said, I'd rather die than not have no legs when I die. Well, he suffered so long, Brother Clint, his legs, gangrene just ate him up, and the pain got so great he wished they hadn't cut him off. But by the time they cut him off, his blood was already contaminated. And he ended up dying with no legs anyway. You don't hear me? I'm trying to tell you there's some things going on in our life that we need to have some surgery.
Say it.
You got to cut off. And see, the Old Testament can seem so vicious sometimes, but look what God said. God said, again, he doesn't tell him who it was. He said, you got contamination. And you got to get them together and find out who it is. He said, first I want you to call all the tribes. And when you call the tribe I choose, then you call all the leaders from those tribes. And he kept on. He called the tribe, and Judah was the tribe. And he found out the leaders, and he ended up, you read this all right there, he ended up man by man, all the way down to Achan. And when he got to Achan, he says, give God the glory. Come on here, somebody. And admit that you are guilty. In other words, we're going to do some things to you, but we don't want to do it in blind faith.